is gonna be crazy. It's easy like 1, 2, 3. Can't believe all this money for me, money for me. I got to get the CASH. That's the code for the vault, so let's play. Top up with 1,000 and the next day you could be a millionaire. But did you sell?
More than 15 million to grab this summer. Top up with $1,000 or more to collect the letters to spell CASH.
For a chance to catch millions in the Digicel's cash vault.
Top up today.
Did you sell?
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Let's get to the news in detail. While the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation has been renovated over the years, much more needs to be done to ensure the country's premier referral and teaching institution is available to meet growing demands effectively. This is according to the Inter-American Development Bank. The bank said several improvements to the hospital infrastructure are necessary to overcome gaps relating to capacity, quality, and growing demand for specialist services. It said the General Intensive Care Unit has only 7 beds, and specialized ICUs and high dependency units frequently have waiting lists. Furthermore, the IDB found that the main operating theater currently has just 6 rooms, which is insufficient to attend to the growing quantity of elective surgeries requested by an expanded array of medical specialists. Additionally, in the most extreme cases, such as the maternity ward, the IDB said wooden buildings from the 19th century at GPHC are still operational and represent a fire hazard due to faulty electrical installations. In other news, opposition leader Aubrey Norton is of the firm view that a new production sharing agreement does not mean Guyana's share of wealth from the oil and gas resources will be increased, as this will not barricade multinational corporations such as ExxonMobil from withdrawing costs from the country's share. To address this deficiency, Norton explained robust auditing and monitoring of the company's expenses must be instituted. Norton pointed out that for this same reason, stakeholders have been pressing the need for ring fencing to be introduced. And now let's tell you, 2 carjackers were on Monday remanded after being slapped with 13 charges, 4 at the Georgetown Magistrates Courts and 9 at the Sparendam Magistrates Court. The 13 charges include hijacking a car, kidnapping a taxi driver, shooting at police, and a series of armed robberies. Police identified the 2 defendants as 18-year-old Emmanuel Haley and 32-year-old Hamza Samuels, both of Beefield Sophia, Georgetown. They were among 4 men captured last Thursday by police during a shootout on Mandela Avenue in Georgetown. They had reportedly hijacked a car from a taxi driver, Joshua Singh, locked him in the trunk before going on a robbery spree until they were nabbed finally by patrol ranks. The other 2 men have been identified as Rolf Franklin and Andrew Newer. Franklin and Newer were shot reportedly during the confrontation with police. Newer has since succumbed to his gunshot wounds, while Franklin remains hospitalized. There should be no oil block auction until Guyanese are confident the process will not be tainted. This is the clear position of the opposition regarding the year-end auction of the remaining blocks. On Tuesday, during the APNU-AFC press conference, economist Elson Lowe argued that the Vice President Bharat Jagdeo should play no role in this process as the PPP mismanagement of the oil and gas industry begins to stack up. He told members of the press corps senior officials contradict each other on critical matters. Timelines are being pushed back without explanation. The government proposes ideas and then scraps them abruptly, and the stench of corruption lingers. Lowe pointed out that it was not too long ago since Jagdeo's friend and businessman Suji Rong was heard in a Vice News documentary uttering the words oil company in the context of allegedly paying a bribe to the vice president. And just before we head to a short break, let's tell you that according to the Ministry of Public Works, a consultation will commence today in the $115 million eastbound Demerara Public Road project. Discussions will kickstart at Golden Grove Diamond Place NDC to that should be the Grove Primary School. And the second round will be held tomorrow at Caledonia Good Success NDC to Friendship Primary. According to the project summary prepared by the IDB, Guyanese authorities will upgrade a 23.5-kilometer stretch of the two-lane road from Grove near the southern outskirts of Georgetown to Tamari near the Chetty Jagan International Airport, running along the eastern bank of the Demerara River. The time has now moved on to Welcome back. Let's continue with the news. After tying the blissful wedding knot on Sunday, a new bride was on Tuesday widowed and left in a critical state after she and her husband, along with two others, were involved in a car accident at Bath Settlement on the west coast of Berbice. The dead man has been identified as 23-year-old overseas-based Guyanese Bisham Dore, called Leko, of Queens, New York. His wife, 23-year-old Varoshini Prasad, called Roshni, resides at Canefield Settlement, Quarantine. The dead man's cousin, 26-year-old Novashkar Sahadio, also an overseas-based Guyanese who hails from Susanna Village, Quarantine, was the vehicle's driver. A fourth person who was in the car has been identified as Ramona Romatali of Susanna Village as well. In other news, on Monday, Police Sergeant Dion Basca made his way down to the Ghana Police Force's headquarters at Ivlery, Georgetown, to submit his statement to the Office of Professional Responsibility regarding recent allegations he made about a high-profile investigation. The request for a statement came after his lawyer, Nigel Hughes, made it known that his client was never asked to be part of any investigation that launched against him by the OPR. Bascom had made accusations against his bosses at the force's CID, claiming that they were bribed to cover up the March 2021 murder of Ricardo Fagundes, popularly known as Paper Shorts. And continuing with this year's miscellaneous road program, the Ministry of Public Works is preparing to spend some $334 million to rehabilitate 10 roads in Bell West Housing Scheme in Region 3. Following competitive bidding for the contract to rehabilitate the roads, 10 out of the 33 contractors who had placed bids have been selected to do the job. According to information provided on the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board website, the projects were awarded on August 16th last. In excess of 3,000 residents of the island of Wakenham in Region 3 are now the beneficiaries of an improved water supply following the drilling of a well to serve the community. According to a Guyana Water Incorporated release, the $50 million well was commissioned by President Ali on August 22nd at the well station. Addressing the gathering during the commissioning, President Ali noted that infrastructure such as this is necessary if Guyana is to continue on the path of development. He said Wakenham plays an important part of in Guyana's food production, and this new well must be linked to a greater initiative for the community outside of domestic use. Meanwhile, on Tuesday,
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
It's Wednesday, August 24th, midweek. We're getting there. I'm GHK Alal on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Welcome to the National Outlook. More bills for Guyana as ExxonMobil signs new contract for subsea exploration services. That was last Friday's Kaieteur News. More bills. And when we talk about bills these days, we're talking about hundreds of millions of US dollars for a start. Another company has been signed off, and they have, from what I'm reading, my God, they have things that go do seismic studies below the ocean floor, and there's no connection to any boats or vessels on top. This is happening via mechanisms and technology that is on the ocean floor itself. The company says we are the best in the world. We are the cutting edge. And I don't see anything to challenge them. But where I'm going with this and why I'm presenting this to you is that we have these contracts being signed and we don't know how much they're costing us. But what we do know is that at the end of the day, we are responsible for paying us. We have billions in debt that are waiting to be audited, and I don't have too much hope about that, about how that is going to come out. I think it's going to be a rubber stamp. But we have more and more hundreds of millions being added as we explore more and we produce more. So this is a never-ending uphill mountain of debt that we are looking at. And it just is endless. It is just endless. Are we ever going to get out of this? Are we ever going to be able to dig ourselves out of the debt hole that oil is creating for us, planting over our heads and that of our children and their children? I don't think so. You don't have to be a mathematician. You don't have to be a statistician. But you don't have to be a magician either. But what you do have to know is have some common sense. We are racing ahead. We do not have competencies. We do not know what is going on out there. But we are still going full tilt. And Exxon has gotten the green light, at least in its head, to go and sign these contracts that binds the company to others, which in effect, by extension, binds us. That's more and more debt being piled on our heads. I want you to think about all these things and put your arms around them, because at the end of the day, we are responsible. I don't care what any politicians say. We are responsible, because if we don't pay them, we owe them. And when we owe them, they're going to come to collect. So, all of us who are looking to get rich from oil, all of us who are looking at this oil as a blessing, and it is a blessing, but only if handled right and wisely, we may have some surprises, if not some shocks, coming our way. I am GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Thank you for listening to the National Outlook.
Kaieteur